We're going to miss a couple of good friends tonight because the guys are well, some are busy. Billy's taking care of Norma. She's had some surgery this week, so he's taking care of Norma. Um, Duxbury's on his way to SWAT. Um, we have a new member.
Gregory.
Oh, okay, give me his name. Um, oh, I have to go look at a message to get his name. Um, Clayton Thigpen
Yes, Clayton.
is a fairly new member, and Clayton is heading over. We're gonna have good representation at uh, the SWAT performances this week because they're both demonstrating for us over there, and others who are members of Worldwide Woodturners at SWAT. That's one of the events of the year that I really missed being able to go to because that is an experience of woodturners with woodturners with woodturners. And it's a chance for us, real woodturners, us, remember I'm saying us, real woodturners. It's a chance for us, real woodturners, to all get together and compare notes and see what real woodturners do and what they accomplish. And it's amazing what goes on there and what comes out of there. It is. And if you compare it to any and all other symposiums out there, it's truly astonishing at what they've put together over the years. And just a gathering of woodturners. And that's what Worldwide Woodturners is going to do next September. And we're going to do it ourselves next September. We're going to be getting together, and it's going to be a gang of woodturners talking to a gang of woodturners about a bunch of woodturning and having a good time. And I'd like to say less rules, less pomp, less circumstance, but we'll have rules, we'll have circumstance, we'll have guidelines. We have to have them in order to have order, and things will be controlled. There won't be a mass running amok and all this stuff. But I can play safe that you're going to have a good time. You're going to see things you don't see at other symposiums. You are. And it won't be, people won't be afraid to show you something. At some of these other operations, people are afraid of doing impromptu demonstrations and stepping up. Number one, the hosting group doesn't always like it. And number two, they don't always like it because you might take the shine off the big guys. Well, we don't have any big guys. We got you guys. And as far as I can tell, we all wear the same kind of pants and, all have the same kind of build and everything. So there's no really big out of us. So, I'm going to be talking to woodturners and working out with woodturners, watching woodturners, learning from woodturners. And damn, you're going to teach me something. And that's what I go there for. That's coming up. We're going to announce registration in just a couple of weeks, and you'll be able to put your registration in, pay your share, get a seat at the table or on a bench, whichever works. And remember, this is a turning and non-turning symposium or gathering. Yeah, it's for people who turn wood and people who decorate turned wood or artistically enhance, isn't that a nice way to put it, turned wood. Because there's a lot of us that can do that. A lot of us can play with the artistic features that'll make a piece just jump off the wall and stare at you. And as I was going through, I had to go through a little function today with my in-laws about their last will and testament. They were talking about things they have given this one and that one. And you listen to all of it before you sign it, that you agree that they signed it and all that. I hate that kind of stuff. But some of my work came up and mentioned as to who they're going to give things to. And I was quite honored that I even got a mention. But then I got to thinking about, you folks all have things in your trove, things in your collection at your home that you really want to give somebody. Now might be the time to think about that. Put a note on it. Leave a note behind. Decide now. Make a share. Make a promise. Remember, once you're gone, you're gone. And a little bit of you can be in somebody's memory. So whenever you get a chance, put that memory out there. Thank somebody with your work. You go to a function, bring a little something you leave behind, something you share with kids or the host or the hostess. It's just a little something that we can do as woodturners that some trades can't do, some artists can't do. But we have the ability to do that, easily do it. And we all have that one little twist up our sleeve, one little trick, that one little secret. And that's all we want. I was telling somebody last night that new turner last night, he was asking, how do you, when you go into a demonstration, what do you target? And this is the truth. You go into a demonstration, what do you target? You never target the entire audience. You don't. That would be a fool's imagination. Is I'm going to go and entertain everybody in the entire room. It's not going to happen. Remember, this is reality. You're going to go in and something you're going to do or something you're going to say, something happens and you're going to impact 4 or 5 turners in that room. That's what's going to happen. You're going to pop in there and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to present this tool. I'm going to show you this, make this one cut, and you're going to see it, and it's automatic for you. But that turner is going to see it from the other side of the room and say, wait, I can do that. Yeah, wait, I didn't do that before. What did it do to do that? Wow. I can take that and I can mix it with such and such, and I can come out with this. And that's what your target would be if you're doing a demonstration. It would be one single person in that room, multiplied by 4 or 5, and you've hit the gold. And that's what the target's got to be. And I heard professional sellers say, well, you got to lively up the place. You got to lighten up the room. You got to do this and that. That's for Bob Hope to do. That's his job. Your job is to share wood turning secrets and thoughts and ideas. And if you can just do that, just share a couple of secrets, a couple of thoughts, a couple of your ideas. And while we're about that, folks, do you know the perfect format for that comes from you every other week right here on Worldwide Woodturners? It's called our newsletter. It is the perfect format for you to share those ideas, for those thoughts, for those dreams, to share pictures of what you've done, how you've done it. Really, I'd like to see how you do these things, how you held them. How did you manage to get that far? And a lot of times I get so perplexed with how did you get that? How did you go from A to Z? I just skip over Q, R, and S, and T and get there because I can't get there. I'm stuck with those consonants and I can't get to that last one. So if you can explain that in your articles, or your drawings, or your photographs, send them to JJ. That's what this newsletter's for. It's there to share our information, our knowledge, our art, our work. And folks, there isn't another one like it in the world. Really. I want to blow our horn. There's not another one like it in the world. It's just like our website. It is so unique, it's unbelievable. Clubs have asked me, can you afford to do this? How can you put this on? Where do you get this at? How? We get it from the heart, folks. Our membership's got heart. Heart, heart, heart. And we give from all ends. That's how this whole thing happens. So if you can jump on board, give us a hand, share, become part of the activity, become part of the help, you are part of the team. Hell, step up and take advance. That's it. Yeah, it's a team event. It is. There's no getting away from it. So, but I enjoyed that conversation with that new member the other night, and thinking, here we have a guy that has been with us, Worldwide Woodturn, it's just 2 years, and he's already stepping up to do demonstrations at SWAT. Yeah, he stepped up way front. You can too. There's nothing keeping demonstrating here. We've seen some good ones. We've seen some pieces of art. We've seen some works of art.
That we have.
And it all comes out of the shop. Remember, it only comes out of the shop. So you got something to share with us tonight, do so. If you got something to talk about, do so. If you're a new member, say hi. We want to say hi back. Want to welcome you and make sure you're not left out in the cold.
That's right. So with that, if let's see, Matt, let's go do a little bit of gallery. We got about 4 or 5 people that's chimed in and saying they want to show something this evening. So let's get started with them. And if we don't have any gallery after that, there is a topic I would like to bring up and discuss with, something about the shortfalls with new turners. So with that, let's see what we got. Show and tell.
Shortfalls. New turners have shortfalls?
No, well,
right.
yeah,
I do.
Self-perceived shortfalls.
Oh, okay. I'm all right.
Well, first on my list is Dave. So let's see what Dave's got.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm still staying away from Cherry for a while.
That's a gorgeous piece.
It's
Gorgeous.
wow. I think it's working, Dave.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
That needs to go in the newsletter.
That's real pretty.
Oh, it'll be heading
Looks
your
nice,
way
Dave.
as soon as I can get the camera working. But yeah, it's maple, and it's got basically I just sanded it up to I did use Yorkshire grit on it, and then it's finished with pure Carnauba wax spun in.
That's a beautiful piece of wood. And nice bowl. I like it. I like the shape a lot.
Yeah,
great.
The spalting. I have to thank my garage floor for that.
Yeah. Concrete works wonders.
You better hire it to do more.
I have another piece that I'm going to mount Saturday morning and see what I can do with it. But that was all the time I got in the shop. But at least it was productive this week.
Yeah, you got to be happy with that.
Pretty pig.
Nice job, Dave. Next up is Dale. So what you got, Dale?
Okay. Well, first off, I got this little box out of Box Elder. Well, this one actually has a pop fit. I get maybe 1 out of 5 when I try to do boxes, I get successful with the fit.
Very nice.
And then I got a tea light holder out of that Box Elder.
Nice.
And then I got a maple bowl.
Ooh.
Oh, Dale, you've been busy. Where you been sandbagging?
Oh, well, it takes me a while. This one's got one of your finishes on it, which takes a while.
Yes, it does. It's good. Good shape.
Thank you. It's got that maple's got quite a few cracks in it because I didn't get it sealed properly. And now I got a natural edge Box Elder ball, which I want everybody's opinion on the foot. Is it too big? Just right? Do I need to change it?
Choice A.
I just want what people think.
I like it just the way it is.
Yeah. I think it's just a little bit wide.
I think you nailed it with your first choice. I think that's where you're leaning already, Dale, with it being just a little oversized, but it's just a little oversized. That's it.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought maybe I needed to take it down here a little bit.
Yeah, down and then decrease the diameter a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
Okay.
It'll
Right on.
lighten up. It'll lighten up the look.
Yeah.
It will.
So
Yeah.
take it inside more.
Correct.
One of the things that I also do, and this is, everybody does things differently, and this is your piece and your artistic expression. But one of the things I do with the feet is I tend to disguise how I was holding it. So I'll put it on the lathe and clean up that recess so it's not obviously a recess. So I just think from an aesthetic, it makes it more appealing. But that's totally up to you, of course. But
Yeah, I just thought I had left this too big around.
yeah, I would prefer it smaller also, but that's just a preference. So yep.
Yeah, that's the way I was leaning. I just wanted other people's opinions too to confirm it.
Yeah,
Well,
but Victor,
sometimes I like a wide foot, but if I'm going to use a wide foot, I always use the Fibonacci scale.
Yeah, I left the foot kind of wide to make sure that I had it tight, but I didn't split it out while I was hollowing out the bowl, because sometimes this box elder seems to be a little tough to hollow. So I wanted to have it good and tight.
There's some other good points in chat. So I agree with Victor is that wide foot can make things more stable too. So yeah, I do like them a little more delicate myself, but yep.
Hey,
Yeah,
Bill, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go.
Sue?
I like it the way it is, but I wanted to know what the scale that Billy was talking about. Billy?
Well,
The Fibonacci?
Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
Fibonacci, Sue?
Yeah.
Golden
What is it?
ratio.
Yeah, the
The
golden
golden
mean, the
ratio.
golden ratio. Basically,
Got it.
you take the diameter of the bowl and
Yeah.
divide it by 1.618.
Yeah. If you had just said golden ratio, I would have known it was the
Oh,
other
I'm
way.
sorry. Yeah, I take the width of the bowl and I divide by 1.618 if I want a wide foot, and that's the dimension I make the foot. If I want it a little bit more narrow, I divide by 1.618 times 2.
Got it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it on a jam. Either put it on a jam tuck or put it back on the lathe and take that down a little bit, and probably make it so it's not quite so deep too.
Actually, I said
Yep.
that
Well,
wrong.
we'll
I
look
divide it by
forward to see.
1.618 and then again.
We'll look forward to seeing what you do with it and seeing how it turns out.
Okay.
It'll be an education, I think, for us all.
Yeah.
I was
Especially
taught,
me.
I was taught to make your base of your bowl 1/3 the diameter of the bowl.
That's the easy math. That's all.
Yeah,
That's
the
right.
1/3, 2/3.
Mhm.
You could also make it 2/3 the diameter of the bowl
Yeah.
if you want a wider foot.
Okay. Thanks for your help, guys. That's
You're
all
welcome,
I got
Dale.
tonight.
See, Dale,
All
all
right, well,
kinds of options.
Yep. Next up is Ruby. What you got, Ruby?
Well, I had to get a new vacuum pump for my lathe. I've got one attached to the Powermatic, but it's not really transportable. And I needed one that I could transport. So then I needed some more vacuum chucking options. So I found this that screws onto the headstock. And it's got a gauge on it, and it's got a quick release here and a place where you can open and close it. And they also made these this size and a bigger size that screws right onto this. So all of this is hanging off your
Is
your
that the inboard
spindle
side?
on your lathe.
The inboard side?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really a well-made unit. And when this is on, the the spindle turns, but this part, the sleeve here has a bearing in it, so it doesn't move. And to make sure it doesn't move, I made a little attachment here that just goes down to the ways. So that even if some dust gets in there or something, it's not going to get jammed. And it's made by the Air Press Development Company in Great Britain. So I just wanted to bring it up so that if somebody was looking for a new vacuum setup for their lathe, this is another option that's out on the market besides the homemade ones and the one way has out, okay?
I've got some of the AirPress vacuum chucks as well. I use them on my lathe, but I don't use their rotary adapter. I use an outboard one on the other end of the spindle.
Right.
But
Yeah, my other for two of my other lathes, I've got the ones that attach at the back end.
yeah,
And this one attaches at the front end. Colin Way and Glenn Lucas both have this one and like it. So,
yeah.
and I have to say the rubber that comes on the chuck here is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
It's not going to peel off
And they
or
do spares too,
wear.
just in case you do break it.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to make you aware of there's another option out there now.
Nice. Cool. Thank you, Ruby.
Ruby, would that work on a solid spindle?
Yes.
Yeah, like I can put this on my Powermatic, or I can put it on my Herald, or for that matter, I can put it on my King lathe.
Yeah, the vacuum isn't going through the spindle, Doug. It's on the outside.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's
like
on the inboard. It's on the inboard side.
right. I'm just thinking I was wondering if it was like the one that I used on my bowl lathe that uses a shop vac, but better because you got a vacuum pump. So yeah, great. That's
Yeah,
great to
and
know.
if you're looking for a vacuum pump, I was kind of really hesitant about buying another one because they were expensive. And I looked on Amazon and found the cost for a new Vavor, which is a good make, a vacuum pump, was pretty reasonable. I picked mine up for $89.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt has put in the chat the where the company, the listing for the company in England is.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you,
Did,
Matt.
yeah. Did you buy it retail, or I mean, how'd you acquire it, Ruby?
I contacted them and ordered it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And it arrived in pretty fair time too. I was surprised. And
Good
what's nice is this connector down at the bottom. It's one of those quick connects. So the hose just pushes in and then you just push this little part in to release it.
Mm-hmm.
That looks really useful. Very cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to let you know there are other options out there on the market, okay?
Yep.
Appreciate
Very
that.
good.
Thanks, Ruby.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next up is Roger. What you got, Roger?
All right. Last week I showed you guys this face. I was telling you I had problems because I didn't have a flat tool rest. Well, I made one. This is part of my steady rest that I built. This is the 10-inch long arm, but the problem is it's 3/4 of an inch thick. So by the time you put this in
Your tool.
with this small hole, I couldn't get my hollowing tools in. I've got the smaller set I could get in, but I could only go down about 10 inches, which isn't deep enough. So, but it was something I tried. So And it was pretty easy to put together. This is just a piece of pin stock, and I drilled a hole in the end and put a T-nut there, and it just slides into this crack. You tighten it down wherever you need it.
It's a great
Good
idea.
idea.
You called that pin stock?
That's actually a pin for a tractor.
Right. For your pitman arms.
Yep.
And you put linch pins on the very end there to hold everything
Where the
together.
hole is.
It's for hooking up a bush hole or a plow on
It
the
was
back
like
of your PTO.
$3 or $3 or $4 at
Tractor Supply.
yeah.
Great
Farm Fleet.
idea.
And then I have a cherry pearl that I turned this week.
Nice.
And
Interesting. I like it.
it
looks
was
great.
it's been sitting outside for a year here. I don't know how long it sat before, but the big section of it was all coming apart, as you can see right there. And on the back side, I've got just a little bit there. But I set this in the lathe at a cross angle to get a bowl this size. But with it being burl, I wasn't worried because the grain doesn't matter.
It looks great.
Very nice.
What did you
Does
finish?
have a little tipping there, but
What did you finish it with, Roger?
it has blow on it. Linseed oil.
Nice.
And
Looks good.
we've got another part of it that I'll see what I can make out of it. It's not as big, but
You must have a bunch of segmented pieces in process.
I've got a bunch of thinking in progress. I showed you the pictures of the one that I want to build, so
Yes, you did. I actually looked at them, but I never responded back like I said I was.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you, Roger.
Still trying to decide which one.
What's that?
All right.
Still trying to decide on them.
All right. Well,
Probably
next up we can't see what you guys are talking about.
That's all right.
Right. You can't. It's in osmosis.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go to the next person in gallery, which is Patrick. What you got, Patrick?
I had a small piece of maple laying around. I decided to try a little different shape, so I made a triangle and turned it into a box.
Very
Oh,
nice,
nice.
Patrick.
Nice.
Nice idea.
Very
And
nice,
then,
Patrick.
then I got a piece of the pear that we cut down, and I made me a little fluting jig for my micromotor and cut flutes into the side of it.
Oh, cool.
Okay, Patrick, I really need to see your fluting
That's
jig for your
cool.
micromotor. Is it
What
a
a-
sled? Is it a sled to use the lathe indexer?
Yes.
Okay,
What
all
I
right.
did is I took a small, well, it's actually a walnut, and took the micromotor and cut out the inside of it to where the micromotor would just fit down in it a little bit.
Yep.
And then fixed it where I could clamp it down on the sled. And then I set up my platform where it's centered. The bit on the micromotor is centered. And used the indexing jig or the index. Well, I got indexing wheel and set it up center here and just run it down each one.
Got it. Cool.
It's pretty
Very cool.
pretty simple. And this is another piece of that pear.
Oh, beautiful.
Pretty wood too. Very nice,
Yes,
Patrick.
that's gorgeous.
That is beautiful.
Isn't
That's a
that-
very pretty piece.
Yep. I like it.
I like turning that pear. It's to me, it's pretty wood.
Yeah, it sure is.
I
Does it?
see on your scallops there. So you went underneath. You went underneath, and did you undercut that? Is that how you did that?
Yes, it's kind of rounded up here and undercut under this
There you
part.
go. Yeah, that's pretty.
Now, does it stay that color?
So far, it has. I mean, the color's not changing on it.
It might get a little bit browner, but that's probably pretty close to it right there.
That looks like it would, if you were to do snowmen, that would make a perfect hat head for a snowman.
Yeah, it would.
That or a scarecrow.
I have to make some and see how it turns out.
I really
Yeah,
like the
I really
sculpting
like
in
that
that
shape.
thing.
It's a great piece.
Yes, it is.
I love
I
it.
like the snowman thought. That's cool.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
That's
Perfect.
fantastic.
Thank you, guys. That's it for me.
All right. Well, thank you, Patrick. Next up is Al.
How's everybody doing?
We're
Good,
good.
Al.
How are you?
I'm not sure if this piece is going to go in the fire pit right after I show this, or I'm going to continue. It's a piece of cherry. There is a gentleman that I see a lot on our YouTube channel, Mustafa Samez. I don't know if I said that. I think I did. Did anybody see any of his work?
Yeah, you got it.
Yes. Yep.
He is somebody that, like, I just try to copy it. Now, I'm never close, but I bring up a little bit of it. But I saw him do this bowl. Like I said, this is nothing like what he did. As you can see, what I'm about to tell you is this is a piece of cherry, and I shouldn't have used it, but it was there. It was a big log. 8 pieces from here to here blew off all over the place. So I glued them back together once Saturday night. So I didn't do anything most of Sunday until the evening because I wanted to make sure it was going to stay. So I started after it again, spinning it, and then it blew off again. So now I'm like screaming, but I found all pieces. I glued it on again. But I think what I'm going to do is it's either I'm going to burn this, but I'm going to maybe make little cuts here and maybe here. If you saw his piece that he showed, I mean, he's got these little caves in there, and it's really pretty. But I don't know. And then he had a pedestal on it and stuff like that. But
You're talking about the rocket ship looking one?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't.
Something
It was.
different. Okay.
I got this. I got it. His just looks 1,000 times better. But
yeah, it's posted. On
yeah,
our
I mean,
page.
check him out. He's on our Facebook.
Yeah, Mustafa.
Yeah, he's on our Facebook page. Yeah.
He's from Italy.
Yeah. But I love his work. A lot of people they question me this one goofy piece I've showed a couple years ago that looks kind of like weird. That was his idea. But I think it came out. I mean, like I said, it's either going to get burned or I'm going to continue carving on it and do something with it.
Yeah, I like the idea of
But anyway.
carving out, making like little cutaway shape legs.
You lose him?
Uh-oh. We lost Al. All right. Who we got next, Matt?
Well, next up is Doug. So let's spotlight him and see what he's got.
I'm here. I want to follow up on a couple pieces, and then I'll show you a new piece real quick. This is a piece I showed you. It's been quite a while, but didn't have any finish on it at the time. Now I've got some finish. That's some of
there you
that walnut, Kentucky Blackwood, walnut.
It's
It's
beautiful.
got some
Ebony.
great stuff in here, just loads of character. Um, it's definitely not a burl, but it's got a lot of movement to it. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. Did this one 2 or 3 weeks ago, I guess it was. This was a heel over. I thought it might be a burl. I was hoping it was a burl, but it wasn't. It was a heel over, and it actually started. It was supposed to be that way. This was supposed to be the top, but I had some issues, as you can see right there, and so midstream we turned it over, and it came out really nice. Loads of character because it was a crazy piece of wood. Right there, you can see somewhere there. Yeah, right there, you can see the line where there was some rot trying to go on down inside the wood. It came out of there was a bark inclusion right here, but that line continues out and it's really not bark inclusion. It's some like some rot starting up. But anyway, that's come out pretty nice. I've still got to take tenons
Looks
off of
like
both
it
of
came
those.
pretty close to being untrimmed together.
No,
But it
I was
looks
being
good.
very careful with that one. Unlike a few other pieces I've had recently. Golly, I had a whole string of not paying attention and getting caught up in the cutting of this one right here. This started out at 6 inches and it's about 3 now. But it was soaking wet. It was throwing water like crazy. And I got caught up in watching the wood come off. It was wonderful to cut. Anyway, same kind of wood, still sycamore. And this was a green, well, it was a growing tree about a month ago. Just a nice size cereal bowl. But I had this thought in my head, the old Fiesta ware, white on the inside, colored on the outside. And so this was the first of those, just a nice plain bowl, slightly inward sloping rim. And this one I painted with or colored with yellow. This is a yellow airbrush dye. So anyway, still got to take the tenon off, but I'm keeping it on because after I get all the finish inside and out, I want to buff it, and I'll do that on the lathe. But we're getting started. That's got some of the the 2X Rust-Oleum 2X is what's on there now. I used a can of it before, and I tried to use it up as fast as I could because I really didn't like it. But this can seems to be different. I don't know what the difference is, but it's working pretty nice. It's just got a couple of coats on it. So, well, it's got 4 coats. It's time to knock it back before we put any more on it. So anyway, but that's what I've got to show you right now. This is going to be a whole set of various colors, roughly the same size bowl, but different color outsides. So
Doug.
Yes, sir.
Doug, if that's going to be a cereal bowl, what you going to do for the inside of it? You put anything in there?
Oh
Finish?
yeah. I'll probably put the same stuff in it. Once it's
okay.
cured up, it'll be fine.
Okay, that's
It'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got, some of you all will remember I turned a rather large, about a 13-inch walnut bowl, very shallow, intended to use it for my salad bowl, and I do eat out of it quite often, and that's finished with lacquer. Once that stuff's cured, who cares?
Yeah.
And it's mine. I did it, so
Right,
yeah. I'll do the same, not with lacquer, but with the 2X. Same stuff I'm putting on the outside, I'll put on the inside.
Okay. Just wondering, that's all.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Looks great, Doug.
Hey,
Thank
Doug,
you.
what was the finish on the Kentucky Ebony bowls?
Those are both lacquer.
Okay.
Just straight
Right
up
on.
lacquer. Yeah.
Yeah, they look good. Good job on
Yeah,
those.
thank you. Thank you. That's probably I don't know, 15, 20 coats of lacquer, going 3, 4, 5 coats, letting it dry over at least overnight, and then knock it back with Scotch-Brite pad. Then start the series over again. It works out that way. You build up, you get some little slight surface indifferences there. Sometimes it's orange peel, sometimes it's a little like dust out of the air, whatnot. But you can knock all that back, slap on 3, 4, 5 more coats and do it again till you're satisfied. And like this one, it's about as smooth as it looks. It's pretty glass-like. Love it. And this one's the same way. It came out
Yeah.
really good. I'm excited
Yeah, that
about
one
both
came
of
out.
them.
That one's cracking.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Very
welcome.
nice.
Yeah, they're both gorgeous.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right. Next up is Ron. What you got, Ron?
Well, I've got some resin with some pine cones in it. I don't know if you can see it or not. The light isn't real good. Let me turn it a little bit. It's got
Ooh,
five different colors of resin.
nice.
Very cool, Ron.
There's a dozen pine cones in there.
What kind
Wow.
of pine cones do you use?
Pardon?
What kind of pine cones do you use? Dry ones? Or?
Yeah, oh yeah, they're dry. I've had them for a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you.
But yeah, I probably can't see. There, you can see the red through there for the light.
There we go.
Looks good.
It's
Yeah, I love
heavy,
how-
but yeah, I don't want to turn the pine cones all the way.
Right.
Maybe if you hold it back closer to your head, we could see it better. Now turn it. Like turn it more in an angle.
There we go.
Yeah, that shows a little better right there.
Yeah, the pine cones.
The pine cones there.
Yeah, wife said it looks like spiders.
Crazy little alien creatures.
Yep. Very cool.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Well,
All
looks
right.
good.
Well, thanks, Ron.
Great stuff, Ron.
Thank you.
Next up is Paul Hannaby. What you got, Paul?
Good afternoon, evening, morning, whichever. Few things actually. We'll start with these. Been making candle holders again, tea lights.
Ooh, look at
This
that.
one is oak, and it's sort of paint effects on the top. Is marbling sort of paint effects. That one's a black with white and gold marbling over the top. Just
That
been
looks
playing
good.
with paints really. I've got another one here which is similar, also in oak. This one I've done a blue background, but still sort of the marbling colours over the top. So just fairly simple shape, but just candle holders. I've got another one here. This one's a sort of a holographic glitter lacquer over the top of a blue. The camera's not really picking up the glitter, but in the right light, that does sort of glitter quite a bit. There's you could probably make out little flecks in the paint.
Yeah, you can see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a lot else, so it's not really showing it off the way it appears. But anyway, yeah, that's another one. Again, another paint
I bet it
effect.
looks great in the light.
And then there's this one, which again, oak. This is a crackle. So I've got a sort of a lime green base over a blue and under a blue crackle on that one. Quite a coarse crackle on that, but I like it coarse. So yeah, I like it that way. One
Hey,
more
Paul,
which is
Hey, Paul, on the crackle piece, could you describe the process a little bit?
it's very simple. The base color is an acrylic spray, Montana Gold, and over the top of that is a Montana Crackle paint, which again you spray on. So you do your base color or colors. This one actually had an orange and a yellow, I think. So there's a bit of both, but it's quite subtle on that one. But you put the base color or colors on. You leave that to dry. They suggest at least 45 minutes, but less than 24 hours. And during that sort of window, you apply the crackle paint over the top. The thicker you put on the crackle, the deeper the deeper and wider it crackles. So that's I put on quite heavy coats to get it to crackle as much as this. If you want a much finer crackle, you just put less on, and it crackles less. But that's all there is to it. Just put the base colors on, and then the crackle over top. I mean, the base color, I say just put the base colors on. You need to do several coats of the base colors to build up a depth of paint. That way it allows the crackle to move when you put it on. If you just put one coat on, it probably moves less. So if you like the sort of the deeper crackle like I do, and you want it to move more, 3, 4 base coats, layers of base coats, and then the crackle over the top. So I mean, I normally do it after sort of at least half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. I'll do it fairly quick rather than wait 24 hours. I don't know if it's better to leave it longer, but it seems to work for me. So
And the base coat is the base coat is an acrylic paint. Is that correct?
yes, they are. They're acrylic paints.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
And then you have
So you buy the cans. The colors that if you look at Montana Gold, there's a whole range of different colors. You can get loads of them. I think I've got about a dozen different colors, and sometimes I'll put different colors on these things and mix and match them, and then do crackles over the top, things like that. So yeah,
very cool. Thank you.
Hey, Paul,
before you go, I've got something else to show as well. I've been making candlesticks again, so there's another pair. This started off life in a demo a week or so back, and I did another demo a little while ago, and the theme here is straight lines. You look in all the source books of shapes, and everything's beads and coves and curves. And I thought, well, if I take that basic concept and then just convert it into straight lines, where can I go with it? So this is taking that basic concept, but no curves. It's all straight lines. So angles and straights, but no curves.
I like.
Just something a bit different. The wood is
Very nice.
And I quite like the wood. It's got sort of nice colouring and sort of lines in it. So
What kind of wood is it, Paul?
it's Gonco Alvis, which I think is a South American wood.
Okay.
Yes, over here it's also called tiger wood.
Okay, yeah. But if you look at the base a bit closer, you can see you get predominantly orange, but with the sort of dark brown lines and patterns in it. So quite a nice sort of colours. I like it for bowls and things like that as well. It's interesting. And this one similar but slightly different.
Pretty
Yeah.
wood.
Nice.
But
stuff.
I mean,
It is
all
pretty wood. It
these
machines
two came
wood.
out of a board I had. It's been kicking around in my workshop for a long time, so I thought I'd use it. So I cut the two discs for the base out of they were about 5 inches by 2 inches thick, and the stems were 2 inches diameter stems by I don't know what's that, about 14, 16 inches, something like that. But you can scale these up to match whatever you've got really. But I mean, out of the piece of wood I got, it was a 6 by 2 board, so I actually got 3 stems, and there was enough left for me to get 3 bases. So I thought I'll make a pair, and the other 2 bits I might make a single candlestick. But you can sort of make quite good use of a 6 by 2 board doing things like this, to get something out of it. And the tops are brass candle cups, which are slightly tapered, so the holes are tapered in to match the cup, and screwed in to keep them in place. And then there's a tenon and a mortise joint down here, so they're sort of turned to fit and glued in, so all glued together.
Oh, well done.
Really pretty, Paul.
Okay.
Hey, can I ask a stupid question? I'm sure it is. What
No
is
such thing.
crackle? What is crackle?
It's where the paint goes like that, and instead of it being a solid cover, it starts to break up and move. You've got basically it's 2 incompatible paints. So you put the paint over the top, and instead of it staying put, it starts to shrink up and it opens up the lines. So you get that the base color was the lime green,
Okay.
the crackle was the blue. So you put the blue over the top, and the blue starts to move and sort of pull itself away. And that's where you get the lines appearing and the base color shows through. So that's what I mean by crackle. And I think that's the generally sort of accepted term regarding paints. You get what they call crackle glaze that goes over things as well. But same principle, you put an incompatible paint over the top. So you get that reaction and it starts to move.
Yeah.
And I think a while back you did a demo on this for us as well, didn't you, Paul?
I think I might have done, yeah, some time back, yeah.
Paul,
But,
in the chat, can you spell out the name of the paint, paint
yeah,
brand?
it's the brand is Montana, Montana.
Montana.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the range of paints I use is Montana Gold. They're actually gold colored spray cans. Each one's got a different color top, but they do a gold range, and I think there's another range they call white. And there are slight differences. I think they probably both work, but I use the gold and it works for me, so I'll stick with that.
Okay.
But for just spray coloring things, they're very sort of heavy pigmented paints. You spray them on, and I mean the actual sort of coverage is pretty good, I think. And yeah, I mean you get a lot of color coming out very quickly with those, so coverage is excellent, I think.
Do they make the crackle medium too?
There is no crackle medium. You just buy the tin of crackle paint in the color of your choice.
Okay, gotcha.
I think they do at least 4. There's a black, blue. There might be a grey. I've got a brown as well. I did one that's like gold with a brown over the top. That looks quite nice. So there's at least 4 crackle colors to go over the top. But yeah, there's no separate crackle medium. It's literally the formula's in the can with the color. So that's it.
Sure.
You just put it on. And how much it
Is
crackles.
the
depend
crackle
on
paint
thickness
Montana
of
as
layers.
well?
But I think if you look on the Montana website, there are quite a few videos on there with some sort of how to do it sort of thing and some examples, so, which I watched before I used it. And it did take me a few goes to get it right. Sometimes I put paint on and it just didn't quite do what I wanted it to. And I remember once I did a crackle and I thought, I'll save on the colours. I'll do a white base coat and then colours over the top and then crackle that. And I did it. And when it crackled, it actually went through all the colours, and all you saw was the crackle colour and the white. All the colours in between that you just didn't see. So that didn't work. So you've got to maintain the same colours all the way through before you put the crackle on it, because you don't know quite how deep it's going to actually sort of break before you see it. So yeah, stick to the same colours all the way through.
Okay, thank you.
Or you might get results you're not expecting, like I did.
Yeah, and if you decide that you want to, there is another way to do this. The reason why Doug asked about crackle medium is there is a crackle medium you can buy by somebody else. That you apply a base coat like Paul did. You put the crackle medium on, which is usually clear, and then before it dries, you're painting on top of that to get the second color with something else. So there are other ways to do this, but those are beautiful, Paul. Thank you.
I've actually got some other crackle medium which I haven't used, but yeah, I thought, well, to get that and give that a try sometime. But yeah, that's as you're describing it, Matt. It's a clear medium more or less, and then you put your colours on top and let it do its thing.
Yeah, and you can get the same effect. I've got some of it sitting around too that I haven't used also.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very cool. Thank you very much, Paul. Those are great pieces.
Thank you.
Okay, Dane, we're going back to you.
Okay.
That's all I got on my list.
Yeah, that'll work. So in the meantime, so we'll be getting started with our demonstration at the top of the hour before we have our safety Sue moment. But I just wanted to touch on something I've been seeing a trend within the wood turning forums with either whether it be new turners or turners that have just become complacent in what they're doing, but specifically with club challenges where a project is given out to be turned for the month, and then said individual sets out to try and turn the club project and it's beyond the skills in their wheelhouse, and they're getting frustrated and thinking that, they just need to give up on wood turning. And I've seen several people, list their equipment because they got so frustrated with trying to turn a project that was above their skill level. And so it's just kind of like, for the replay for people that'll be rewatching, our program tonight, that, you really shouldn't be getting discouraged because you're not able to do something. And straight away, you should be able to recognize that the project that's being put out there may be above what you're able to do. By all means, go and try to do it and try to make multiple attempts at it, hopefully safely without getting hurt. But at the same time, don't just throw your hands up in the air because you're not able to reproduce what was showed to you or what you're seeing, from your peers or your mentors. And, I just wanted to, to get some further inspiration for folks like this, from those of us here within the group. If you see anything like that, try to build these people up in forums and, and let them know that you may not be able to do it today, may not be able to do it tomorrow or next week, but eventually you will be able to do it. You hear me talk about all the time, Slacker Stack. I've got a Slacker Stack. There's a lot of people that started a Slacker Stack in the last 6 years. I'll pick on Al. He takes on projects that are very trying. I know there's some stuff that he does that I wouldn't even attempt. But he goes out there and gives it a whirl from what he sees. And there's various other ones out there that do the same thing. So I just, don't get discouraged. Don't get down on yourself, and definitely don't get rid of your equipment. If you're burned out, walk away from it. Go do some flat work, clean up your shop, reorganize 5S, sort, standardize, and set everything. So I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts or comments on the subject. If you do,
Yeah.
By all
Yeah,
means,
I can't count. I can't count the number of failed pieces I've had that I've thrown in the burn pit, and largely because I'm always pushing the envelope and trying crazy stuff. But it doesn't keep me from doing it. But it also doesn't keep me from trying to be as safe as I can be. The trick is if you're trying to do something to meet a challenge or just because you like the look of it and you get to a point where you don't feel safe, stop. Or when if you feel a little apprehensive, stop, because these things can bite you and you just got to be careful. Take it slow and take it easy and figure out a way to get comfortable with whatever it is you're trying to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well said.
I'd like to, if I could just echo what Billy said, but also, I've been a member of several groups, online groups. And I got to say, this has been the best one so far. But we did from time to time, we did a challenge and trade where loose parameters were thrown out and everybody tried to they did it to their own interpretation of whatever those parameters were. And then after, the deadline would come, we would show those, and then we had a week or a week and a half or something to send it to another person. Our names were drawn arbitrarily and we shipped those out. I've got a whole shelf of those challenge and trade pieces, and I wouldn't get rid of them for anything. Some of them are beautiful pieces. Some of them look like a junior high school kid made them. But that wasn't the point. The point was to get people in the shop and trying new things. And, we never criticized. One of our big rules here, there's no but. I like that, but we don't do that. Primarily because we could say something wrong and not give them constructive criticism, but give some bad criticism that causes somebody to do, like Dane said, put all their stuff on the market and get rid of it. And that would be a shame. We don't get better without making some mistakes. I'm like Billy. I have thrown some stuff plumb across my shop. It's 26 feet from me to the far wall, and I've thrown stuff that's hit that wall off the lathe. It's crazy how that happens sometimes. Be safe, but enjoy it. Have some fun. Try new things. If you don't try something new, you never learn anything. For instance, in a live not long ago, this is about all that's left of a bowl. It was a nice bowl at one time, but I went through the side and this came off the top end. I saved this part. I've saved the bowl and I've started doing some laminating to build it up so that I can save it somehow. I'm starting to wonder if I'm going to bother. It's gotten that bad. But anyway, try new things, see if it works. If it doesn't, wood grows on trees. So throw it in a fire pit. If it works, you've learned something, you've done something new. Give it a go. Give it a go. That's all I can say.
My wife told me my wife told me I was down there trying to turn a bowl, and it split. She said, "What happened?" I said, "I must have held the tool wrong." She said, "Are you mad at it now?" I said, "No." I said, "I got to figure out what I did wrong." I'll put another piece of wood on there, and I'll turn it again. I'll move the tool. I asked you about it, Dan, once before about holding the gouge. I was on the tool rest was too low. I had to raise it up some, and that helped a lot. And I'm a big rookie. I am. I'm a rookie, but I keep going down there. I do other things, but I go over to the lathe. I'll put something on there, and I'll spin it. I got a couple little small bowls. They started out pretty big. I got small bowls, and I can do better. But as I get there, I'm not down to 80 grit gouge yet. I'm up to about 100 grit gouge to get the scratches
There you
out.
go.
If I get that.
Progress.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't get frustrated with it. I stand off to the side, so if it comes off, it's going to go back up in front of me, whatever way it wants to go. And I have a face shield, one of their, I can name of one is I keep that on, so try to keep it that close to my throat just in case something comes up that way. But I don't. My final projects and stuff like that is the scratches and stuff like that and the end grain. And I'm learning. And I did something the other day. I said, let me try something. I haven't done it yet. Let me try wet sand it, see what happens. And so I did some wet sand, and it helped take some of the scratches out. So I don't know if it's dumb luck or whatever. And that's just I give it a shot. But that's I don't get mad at it. It's just I look at you guys and stuff you do. That's why I ask questions, but sometimes I don't know. So
that's how you learn, asking questions, and then something we say in wrestling and in fighting, you never get better by not doing. And so putting
something else. I think one of the problems we have, they can call some of the better turners and find out what to do.
Yes, in this club, there's a merit of us that have our numbers available, and there's a lot of us that are just sitting out here in our shops. Just some of us are even just sitting and waiting to be able to help somebody out. But there's definitely a resource there.
I think one of the problems a lot of people in our generation had is a lot of us were taught you don't fail. You get it right every time. And that's not how you learn. And it always brings to mind the Thomas Edison quote when they asked him how he handled failing 275 times reading the light bulb. He said, "I didn't fail. I found 278 ways of not doing it."
No, but what Thomas said, that's a bad example for Thomas Edison. What he did is went over and copied the work off of Tesla.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. He stole a lot of stuff.
He sure did.
The point was a good point, though.
Yes, yeah. It's a good adage. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking like what Jeff was saying, and yes, always pick on Al. Everybody feels like they challenge themselves. If they see something that they like all of a sudden, like what I showed tonight, it doesn't look anything at all like what he showed a few days ago. But it's an inspiration that gives you a challenge. Don't ever lose that challenge. You when you have the challenge, they're like, I see a picture, and I'm gonna, I'll look at it 1,000 times, or I'll watch a video. I'll watch that video 15 times to understand what I'm looking at. Always ask questions, like was just said. I mean, you hear my big mouth every night asking questions, and that's how we learned. We've learned so many things. I mean, one small question, and Jim will give us 15 minutes of how he really did something. It's like there's always a challenge in the back of your mind, and don't ever lose that part of it. I mean, we're all like, Jeff said, we're brought up in that era that you want to do better all the time. So you always have that challenge in your mind. I mean, that's the way I feel. And don't lose that challenge ever. And if you like something, continue with it. So
yeah.
But
Well, and I think that I think that the whole premise here is that we're all just folks turning wood, you know.
Right.
And it's something that I tell people that I turn with is, you know, every piece you make is better than everything that came before. You're learning on everything you do. And whether,
right.
you know, when I'm turning with anybody, whether I'm teaching a class or I'm turning with a friend or somebody's teaching me something, I'm always learning something from every encounter.
Always.
You know, my
You're
students teach me as much as a mentor will teach me. So it's and when I do a demonstration, I learn also from that. So, you know, from the questions that people ask. So it's an education, the whole process, and it's open ended because there's always more stuff to learn. So
Right.
Yeah,
You're never done learning.
correct.
This is the
And like I
coolest turning
said, that
club.
little box I showed tonight, I said I get 1 in 5 boxes that I attempt. Do I actually get a tight top fit? Because it's a challenge for me to get a good fit on a lid on a box. Because I'm not that good at turning boxes, and I know it. And I just keep working at it. I don't let it stop me.
Exactly.
Yep. There you go. It's the attitude.
Yeah. Well, wood
And
turning
if
is
I get
also
frustrated after a little while, I stop trying to do boxes for a little while and go off do something else on the lathe, and then I'll go
Right.
back to doing a box.
wood turning though
sometimes
makes you have a challenge. It creates a challenge in you also, because once you're there for, like, you know, let's say 2 weeks, all of a sudden you're really hooked. You're really hooked into this. So you've already challenged yourself that you're going to master that gouge. You're going to master the skew, and you know what you have to do it. Like what the gentleman just said earlier, he had his tool rest a little bit too low. I mean, you're like, and everybody we're saying tonight, you're not going to get any better if you don't continue to go forward.
Right.
And the challenge is what we're doing also. You want to learn because you're hooked. You're down the rabbit hole. That's the big thing about it all, and it's so great. This club is so great too. Thanks, Cap.
And then for those that are that watch the program back on the rerun, that fit or fall into this little parameter, the best thing you could do is start logging in on Wednesday nights at 1800 Central Standard Time. Link is on the website. Go to the meeting. Doesn't cost you a dime, and let the learning and the knowledge just flow right to you from this group. There's a wealth of knowledge from so many great turners here in this group. So, all right. Well, if nobody else has anything else to add to that subject, I will move on to Safety Sue.
Okay, I'm going to start on that subject again. Okay, guys, most of you know my challenges with my eyes. I'm legally blind. And so I had stopped for a while, but I'm back at it. Okay. And I did do this week. And I kind of like it. It's my first shape like that, and it's a little weed pot. I'm going to redo it because of sap issues and wet issues, and it's getting bumpy all of a sudden. But I'll show it again next week after it's perfect. Okay. But I do that. You feel with your hands. You do it. You use the senses you have, and you do what you can do. So don't give up, folks. It's still a lot of fun. So on that note, let's talk about safety. Now we've talked about, our allergies and all that. But I was looking at wood toxicity, and we have mentioned it several times, but I was looking at most of the woods that we all use. And, box elder, maple, walnut, all of them. And the biggest thing is dust. And a lot of it is retinitis and dermatitis and asthma. So the dermatitis, if if you think you're going to be sensitive to wood, like I'm sensitive to anything in the fir family, pine, arborvitae, cedar, all that stuff, I need to wear long sleeves, otherwise I'll be itching for the next week. And I make sure that I have my face mask on and that I have my glasses and my face mask even when I'm sanding, because I don't want that dust anywhere near my eyes. So guys, what I'm saying is take care of your skin, take care of your eyes, take care of your lungs, know what you're wearing in front of the lathe, and be careful with what you're turning. And we all love ebony and blackwood, but they all have issues. Even I was surprised at ash. Ash has got quite a few issues. So please, if you want to know about wood toxicity, go onto our website, look up safety tips, and you'll find the thing on a couple of links for wood toxicity. I have shown that before on our webpage. And you're going to see all the pages of wood toxicity. Pick the wood that you want to turn and look it up. And if you think you're going to be sensitive to it, then take appropriate action, because we don't want you itching and going like this, like you have fleas. So please be careful. And I'd love to see you here next week without itching and breathing. So take care, everybody. Have a great week.
All right. Thank you, Sue. All right. So with that, we have our featured demonstration this evening. We got Mr. Bob Grinstead in the house. And he's got a recorded video for us, if I remember right. So Bob, this is his demo, even though it's recorded. He will be live to be able to answer any questions in the chat. Bob, remember when you go to share your screen to share your sound also. So with that, I'm going to mute everybody. This is for entertainment purposes on how Bob does something within his shop. We may attempt to turn his project, but we'll be doing it with our own safety features that we feel comfortable with and our own turning methods. And so with that, we will keep our comments until the end of the video, because it is a recorded video. But if you have questions, throw them in the chat, and I'm sure Bob will be able to answer them right away. So with that, I'm going to mute now, Bob, and mute yourself. And I got you.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let me do a share screen here, and now I just have to find it. There we go.
Yeah, hi, I'm Bob Grinstead, and I wanted to show you tonight what I'm making for Christmas. These are going to be the Christmas presents I'm giving away to the neighbors. They're little lanterns, so you put a little candle in here, and you can make all different kind of lids, shapes, bales, all different things. And then down in the bottom here, you put some type of an object. It could be snow, it could be a snowman, it could be nearly anything. So let me get started here and show you how I do these. This is not my deal. I got an inspiration from OMH Woodworks. It's about 6 years ago I made the first one. Here is the first ones I made, and they're quite a bit bigger, which is fine. It's just you do have more room for the objects down here at the bottom. But and this is made out of pine, but it's 4 inches wide and 13 inches tall. I cut blanks of wood that 1.5 inches by 11 inches. You get 4 blanks, and then you glue them together. And you glue them with either double-sided tape, or in my case, I don't really like the double-sided tape. It's just too hard to line it up sometimes, but once it's there, it's there. You can't move it. So anyway, I usually glue them up with paper joints. So let me show you how I get started on that. So all I'm doing is taking a brown paper bag from where's this one from? From Brom, and cutting it up into little strips of paper. You know, they're probably an inch wide, an inch and a half long or something. And you don't want a whole lot of glue here because, it's going to be hard to get off if you put too much glue. And the paper, anyway, just a little glue and put it together and clamp it. So I clamp these and let them dry. Clamp the other two and let them dry. And then I come back and find the flattest sides and put them together and glue them together the same way. A little bit of glue on each piece of the wood, put down the paper and glue them up and clamp them. So then you end up with a block like this. So I've got a 3-inch by 11-inch block that I can go now and turn the first turning, which is going to be the inside of the ornament. So it's really the Christmas tree object you're trying to turn out of this. When you put the clamps on, don't tighten them up real tight. You just want to kind of snug it up to hold them together. You don't want that glue squeezing out everywhere. Again, if it does, it's really hard to get them apart. I use a cup drive center in the live center, so that when it goes in, the cup tries to hold it together. It doesn't push it apart like a 60-degree live center, like this one. This one would just try to force it apart. And the cup tries to hold it. It has a circle there and it tries to hold it together. And the other end is a spur drive. So I have bought a spur drive that I like from Amazon. This one is probably 1 inch, but it's bigger and better, and it fits directly into my chuck. So I don't have to keep taking the chuck on and off. I just take this out. The center of this one, you can change it out and put different tips in here. But this works real well for me. I do have a different spur drive, but it's smaller, and I like the bigger one. But so let me put this together and we'll start turning. Okay, after I use an awl to, or in my case, an ice pick to open this up a little bit so the tip will fit down in here, then I, on the end that the spur drive is going on, I'm going to cut a slot in here on the bandsaw so that the spur drive will fit in here better. It doesn't have to be deep, just deep enough for the spurs to kind of sit in and to keep it, to allow it to hold a little better. Okay, and the only thing that I want to do right now is to cut the object out. I don't want to put tenons on it. I don't want to mess up anything else here. I'm just going to lay out this area right in here where the tree's going to go and mark that off. So let me do that with a storyboard. So I have a storyboard that I've made up because I'm making multiple of these. And this little storyboard is laid out for 11-inch piece. There's 1.5 inches for the base. You could move it over a little bit so it, you have a 1/4 inch tenon out here, because you do want a tenon to hold it. And then the tree is 3 3/4 inches from here to here. It's marked off with the limbs, 3 limbs across here. And then the top is about 1.5 inches. That leaves you enough room for a mortise to come in to down in here, and leave a tenon on the lid. You got plenty of room. It's 2 3/4 inches or more for the lid, so you have plenty of room up here to make a lid, or to make a finial if you wanted to make the lid with the tenon on it and a finial up here. I think there's plenty of room. Anyway, that's my little story stick. So let me mark the tree off. And I'm going to move it up so I can have a tenon down here. And just mark that off. Like that. And let me see if I can still see it. And I can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. The first thing I do is I cut those marks in on each side with a parting tool. Get a mask on here. And I only want to go deep enough to where it's round. I don't want to go any deeper than just to make this thing round. You know, if it's not in the center, some of it's going to be a little deeper, but that's okay. It won't show. You don't really care. It'll be fine. See, like right here. This side is almost round, where this side is in a little bit. That's in a little bit. So this end I'm going to stop on. The other end, it doesn't matter because I'm going to make it deeper anyway. I'm going to make that all the way down for a limb going down. Let me make it round. Okay, so it's almost round. Now that it's almost round, I'm going to mark off where the limbs are. And then I can take those down. And again, I'm going to take them down with a parting tool. Be sure and get on this, or well, however you want to mark it, but I cut on this side of the line every time. Well, I almost got those corners pretty bad, but they're inside, they're in the middle. You can put glue or whatever in them and it probably won't show too much. Your object that you're going to put in here is going to cover it up anyway. You don't want to knock these off. This first one, I want to go all the way down to where it's about a half an inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch from this edge right here. Because that's what's going to show on the outside. You're going to have that little piece on the outside. The rest of this you're not going to see because it's going to be inside and hidden back in here. So this part right in here is going to be hidden. I've got a little bit further to go on this one. And I work them to, kind of one at a time. But this bottom one, I definitely want it to be about 5/8 of an inch or a half an inch thick. And I got a little more to go, and I want that limb to actually bow in. I want to bow in. And what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to sight and see that tree. If I take the flat edge and put some paper or cardboard or something up here, then I can see the tree in there. So this needs to go down. I am about as thick as I want it in here. I might go a little bit more because I've got some to clean up anyway. But this right here could go down to where it's maybe a little over 1/4 of an inch wing sticking up. Same thing here, same thing here. So this could go in a little more and round it as I go in. And right now I've got maybe a 1/32 right here. I need to go down too, so I've got an opening for the tree to come up. And this top up here, it's just going to come up and to right here, and right, it doesn't matter about these wings, they're going to be up inside. But you want the top of your point to be right and round in this area. So let me just keep working at it. Okay, it's not too bad, but it's still too high right here. So I need to take it down to where, again, it's about 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and 1/4 of an inch. It just opens the tree up and makes the tree wider. Okay, so that is just about got it. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at that profile of the tree, and looking straight down through there, and that's half the tree. So that doesn't look too bad. I'm going to clean the corners up down in there, but otherwise I think it's wide enough. It could be a little wider, make a little broader tree, but it's not bad right where it's at. Well, this little tool is an easy wood tool. It's a very sharp pointed tool, so it can get a catch real easy, real fast, and it's a real killer. So you got to watch it. But I'm mainly going to be cutting on the edge of it, not necessarily the tip. You don't want the tip to dig in. If you don't have that tool, you don't have to. I mean, it's not imperative that that is squared or at a point down here. That's just going to be the outside of your limb, and it could be a little rounded. We're going to sand all this now and sand it up. I see these corners are pretty rough here, but like I said, most of that's going to be covered up anyway, so it won't matter. So let me sand it and see how it looks. And I start off with 80 grit sandpaper. And get most of the big scratches out of it. You're not going to see a lot, even if you do have some tool marks in here, because it's on the inside. Okay, now that I've got it sanded, I've got to finish this inside because you can't get back to it. You're never going to get back in here to do anything with it. So go ahead and sand it down. I usually take it to 400 and then I spray either Krylon or lacquer or something on it to give it a shiny finish. You want it glossy just so it reflects the light. In this case, I'm using Krylon Cripple Thick, crystal clear glaze. I have a hate-love relationship with this. I like it because it doesn't take many coats, but if it's super hot, super dry, this stuff doesn't flow well, because it's so thick. So you got to kind of watch the environment and watch how much you put on. But to me, it's real easy to get too much and then it sags. So I just put a couple of light coats on it. Usually 2 is enough. It's plenty glossy. you don't really see that surface. You can't see it unless you're looking all the way through it to the other side. And most of the time people aren't doing that. They're only looking at the outside and what's on the surface of this thing. So we're going to let that dry a minute, spray it again, and call it a day. I just wanted to quickly show you the differences here. Just slight movements or slight more turning on this really opens these up. You can see I can barely get my finger up in this one. This one here, I've got plenty of room to go all the way up here. So just, with your little paper that you've got on the side while you're turning it, the inside, just, you can just a slight more will really make a lot of difference in it. All right, before you break them apart, those paper joints apart, be sure and mark all 4 of them around. Go all the way around the same direction, and so that you know where the corners are, which ones match up. It just makes it smoother. But when you put it together, you're going to turn it around like that. So all of those numbers are now going to go on the outside. And then you'll see your Christmas tree in there. But right now, and that's what you've got to get flat. You've got to get these inside areas flat, not where the paper is, but the other edges, the other 2 sides of that block. So that when you glue them up, they are flat. They're not, there are no big gaps in here or anything. The other thing about breaking those apart, you got to be careful that when you break this end apart, that you don't put a lot of pressure on it. You want to ease a little bit here, ease a little bit here, because this right here is still fragile. That little 1/2-inch piece could break. It could already have splits in the wood, whatever, and break it out. So you just and break it out. So you just got to watch the pressure. Don't put a lot of pressure on that end. Do both ends, kind of work both ends doing it, and until you get it apart. So let me go ahead and sand these up. This is my 12-inch sander. So I can put it up here and sand them flat, sand that edge flat. And then when I put them together, I'll be able to see how flat they are. And this is the side that counts, where the tree is. The other side doesn't. That's on the inside. So it's only this side that counts. So let me do that. The other thing is when you sand these, you only want to sand these 2 sides at one time. You don't care about the other side, because once you get these blocks glued up, and again, when you glue them up, you're watching this. You want to make sure this is flat. You don't care about anything else, even this surface right here. That surface you're going to sand away anyway, or turn away. This side you're going to sand down. So only sand up that one side and try to make that seam, flat. So there's no gaps in there. It's like this one here. You don't want to, you want to line it up and don't see any gaps. And that's what you want to sand. Just these 2 sides. You don't care about this side yet. Once they're glued up like this, then you sand these 2 pieces together and these 2 pieces together, so when they mate, they are flat. All right, so the first thing I want to do is to put a tenon on each end. Mainly it's just because I don't want to forget it. I'm going to cut this lid off, and I need some way to hold it, and I need some way to hold this in while I drill it. So let me go ahead and get the tenon on here. You can see, this crack. I wish it wasn't there, but it is. I think I'm just going to have to leave it, or maybe fill it when I get through here. But it's because I used not reclaimed, but resawed wood. This is out of a Bradford pear, so it's not your standard kiln dried wood. It's just out of a tree which has cracks in it. But I could have found a better piece to put in here. But and here's cracks on this side too. So I've just got to watch it and see what I can get out of it. But I think it's going to be fine. I think it's just going to add character, or I hope that's what it's going to do. So let me get the tenons on here. Okay, so I've got the tenons on, and now I need to turn this thing around, not in here, but the top of it and this part up here, the part that's going to be the top, and also this. I want this round down here too, but right in here I'm not. I'm just going to barely touch these, so I want this surface flat. I could turn them. I mean, I could, you could turn this thing and make it round like a glass lantern or something. I just like the square look. All right, now that I have it round, I want to go from the tip of the tree up here about 1.5 inches. So this is where I'm going to part the top off right here. So this becomes the top, and this stays down here with the tree. But I've got the bottom turned a little bit. I'm going to be able to hold it with a tenon and be able to come back and part this off right here. So it's that part is almost done, or it's roughed out, I guess I could say. But up here I want to part this off, so I'm going to part it, or start to part right here, and come over a little bit for my parting tool, and then I want about 1/4 inch tenon left on the lid. So this tenon is going to go inside the lantern. So I'm going to leave it on here, going to go ahead and define it right now, and so that when I come back and turn this, I can match the lid fairly easy, because the lid's going to be in my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and define this a little bit, make kind of a lid out of it, and make this tenon, and then part it off. So now that I have the top of the vessel, or top of this lantern done, I'm going to make this 1/4 inch tenon. Then I can go ahead and shape this a little bit up here. I'm not trying to make a finial. So all I'm going to do is to go in a little bit, make a knob up here, so that I'm going to put those, put that bail in it. Okay, so now that I have everything defined, I can go ahead and part this lid off. and still be able to hold it in the tenon in the chuck and finish that lid later. But I do have my tenon down far enough to small enough where I can make this lip here. Well, I didn't want to go that far, but it's okay. It's all going to come out there anyway. It must have broke down in there somewhere. Yeah, see, it broke out, but that's okay. So I'm going to put this in a chuck, and then I'm going to drill it on the drill press. If I drilled it here, you know, the normal thing on drilling is you have to hold the Jacobs chuck and crank it in. Well, that means you can't hold the wood because the wood's turning anyway. But this is the fragile part. See, this is already cracked. When it jarred off here, it cracked right here because this is the smallest parts. So you got to be careful when you're drilling that you don't twist this off right here. So to me, it's easier or better to put it in the drill press. And let me show you how I do that. All right, so I want to be able to line this up. You know, the chuck is pretty flat, so it would probably line it up fairly easy. But just to be on the safe side, I know that this hole in the drill press, this hole is in line with the chuck. So I made an adapter here that I can put that in here. And then I can set my chuck on it. Now my chuck is 5/8. So I made a 5/8 inch dowel here, tenon, and it sits on it. Yours would probably be an inch or an inch and a quarter, whatever size your spindle is. But that just sits on there, so it lines up this direction easily. You know, this side you can move to where it fits the, you know, you can look at this and you can see the center just by looking at the crosshairs here. So that's what I'm going to do is to line this thing up to where the crosshairs fit it. And right about there. Okay, so now all I've got to do is to hold this. I don't have to, and then drill. I don't have to worry about these splitting because I'm going to hold that. Now you want this deep enough to where that little candle fits down in here. So I think it's going to be just about above that. See, that's not in there all the way. I really want it to go further in here, and I want to. I'm going to drill the other hole first. The other hole this is an inch and a half hole. So I mean inch and 5/8. Sorry about that. But let me get that off of here and change bits. And I'm going to drill an inch hole. The reason it's so big, it doesn't have to be that big because the bulb is a whole lot smaller, right? But I do want the light to shine down So I'm going to make this as bit, fairly good size. And I also don't want when I go through here, you'll see that, that I want to leave, maybe a quarter of an inch, platform. I don't want to, when I come back and drill this 1 5/8 lower, because I'm going to make it lower, I just want to leave about, maybe a quarter of an inch down there. So the bulb sticks down and sticks outside this thing. You'll see it in a minute. So this I'm going to drill all the way through. Okay, and you can see how thick that is. Well, I want the bulb to stick down a little further, so I'm going to go ahead and drill this 1 5/8 down further. So it still leaves about a quarter of an inch down there. The other advantage that when I'm doing that is I don't have to drill the top out, so this would fit up inside the top. This thing's going to actually be down in here. So let me change bits again. And drill it again, and we're going to drill a little deeper this time. Okay, so now you can see I've still got plenty of meat here for this thing to sit on, and it drops down in. I don't have to worry about it sticking up inside the lid. And if you can see this, see, he sticks down. Let's see if I can turn that light on. And you can see that that the bulb is actually sticking inside this thing. The more that the bulb sticks down, the more light you have down on your object down here, whatever you're going to put in the bottom of this. It just lightens it up a little bit. Okay, so now we can go back over and finish turning it and sanding it and getting everything smooth over here. And we can size this lip here for the lid. Thing is sticking out quite a ways, so I am still going to use tailstock support, and that 1 5/8 hole, I can still use this, or I can go back to a 60-degree live tailstock. Live center, but this will work fine. Just use it up here, and I don't want a lot of pressure on it. I just want a little, because I'm going to cut that out. I don't, all I've got to do is to size it for my lid and take it down, quarter inch, whatever that lid, that tenon I have on the lid. So I'm not going to have to take it down very far, but I still don't want it flipping out of here. So I'm going to do it here. I am going to put some light on it though. so I can see it a little better, and take it down some. So it's got to go down quite a bit, but let me start, and I'm just going to use a parting tool, and put a little groove in here and see how it fits. And I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be bigger than that. But I'm going to get most of this out of the way. And I can go straight down the side of that. And clean that up a little bit. I have to remember which one is the tenon. Is it this one or this one? Anyway, that's the lid. So we still got to go a little bit more to make that fit. You know, I could try to do it out without doing this, but it's safer. It's a little more than I wanted, but that's okay. I'm going to bring it back up here and take that center out a little bit, just so I can get a better fit. It moved quite a bit, so I really like the tenon on there. I mean, the live center on there. All right, so that's a lot better. Got a little bit of slop in there, but that's okay. I'm gonna put pressure on here, and we're gonna finish turning this thing. Let's see if I can line it up. Probably right there. All right, so now I can go ahead and finish the lid. I said that I don't want to really finish that lid. I want to just kind of finish this curve right here. So it fits in a little better with the rest of it. Okay, now I can sand it. I'm going to sand all this down here, especially this joint. And hopefully I won't have to come back here too much. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now what I'm gonna do is turn it around and finish this lid up here on this end and cut it off, part it off. Actually, I can go ahead and sand this whole thing, can't I? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and sand this whole thing while I've got it here before I take it out of the chuck. No, it didn't go. I mean, it didn't split all the way through, but it sure got a split. But I don't know. I mean, that just might add character to it. We'll just keep going and see what's going to look like when I get through here. I might put some sawdust in here and clean this up a little bit with a little CA, or maybe I just sand it a little more and sand this away. I'm going to sand this surface anyway flatter, and I could just kind of sand this away so you don't see it. Otherwise, I think it's probably pretty good, right? All right, so let me take this off. And let's finish the lid. Well, let me go ahead and part that off in here. I don't have a whole lot to part off down here, so I could have made this a little further up and had a little more meat here, but I think it'll still be fine. And all I want to do is kind of part it a little bit and come back and use a bandsaw to cut it off, and then finish that with a grinder. Oh, this thin parting tool is made out of a Sawzall blade, and it works great. So now I can take it off, cut that off with a bandsaw, and then come back and finish that, grind it off and finish that bottom. So you can see the thin little curve, but you know, that's okay. The rest of it can come off here. Yeah, I can finish this bottom off. And I don't care that it's wobbling, because the only thing I'm going to turn is back up here. The rest of that I'm just going to sand. I'm using the side of the parting tool as a scraper, and just scraping this around. And then I'm just going to come back and sand over this. All right, so all that can come out of there now. And I'll finish cutting that with the bandsaw. And got some cracks in it, but again, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. So let me finish that with a bandsaw and a little sanding, and then put a bail on it, and I think that'll be good. So to sand these, you know, I either grind these things off, depends on how much is here. So I could grind this off. I cut it off, that little curve, so I was able to follow it pretty good, and cut that off. And the same thing with the lids, got some up here. And I can either grind this away with a grinder or a Dremel tool or whatever, or I just use it like an 80 grit sandpaper. But I do all this on the drill press, so that I don't have to move anything except for the piece. I can move the piece, and all of this stays separate. This is a little adapter that you can buy, so I don't have to keep undoing this to change grits. And all my grits are on these little deals that I have made. This is again, it's using a Phillips screwdriver, deal that goes in your drill, and put it, glue it in a piece of wood and put a piece of a harder type foam. It still moves, but it's harder. This pink is a kneeling pad from the dollar store or something. So you use shoe goo. It's really made for shoes to hold the soles of a shoe together, but it's really got a lot of tenacity, I guess. It's really sticky. It dries good and hard, and it's still flexible, but yet you're not going to get it hot. The heat doesn't bother it, nothing. And then I glue another little pad, not a pad. This is Velcro, so I glue the Velcro on here too, on top of that. And then you buy these little interface pads. I think I bought those from Amazon. I think they were maybe, I don't know, 75 cents or 50 cents a piece or something. I've forgotten what they are. But then you put different grits on here. So I don't have to keep changing the grit. I can just change this. So I've got one of these for every grit, 80, 120, 220, 340 or whatever, and 400. So I've got one for every grit. And I put the sandpaper on here, and I don't have to change it until the sandpaper's wore out. Anyway, so I just try these without even sand them up. It'd help if I started out with fresh sandpaper. See, this is almost gone. I need a new sandpaper on here. But anyway, I just worked my way through the grid. Okay, I still have some sanding to do. I have sanded the bottom, sanded that top that we had. And, you've still got some rough spots here. But these I just sand flat on here. So let me get started sanding. Okay, so that's not too bad. Now I'm going to take it back to the drill press and sand it again with some, this is, I think this is probably 80. So I'm going to come back and sand it again, and, all the way up to 400. I'm going to sand these out a little bit because they're pretty rough. And a couple of spots up here, I can go ahead and sand and round this off a little more. Anyway, just touch up sanding. But other than that, it's done. And I don't think that crack's going to be too bad. I'm going to look at it later and maybe put something in it. All right, now that I have it sanded, these are all sanded out and look pretty clean. You remember the big crack I had on here? Well, I decided to go ahead and fill it, so I filled it with sawdust and CA, and it works pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish it in Parfex 3408 and buff them out. These are easy to buff out because they're, flat surfaces. There's nothing that's really going to catch. This is not going to catch anything. Here's one that I decided to not put a bale. I'm just going to put a finial on it and to see how that looks. Worst case, I could come back here and still put a bale on it and the finial. But anyway, let me show you how I do these. I use these gloves because the CA will not stick to them. It's disposable food preparation gloves from Amazon. It doesn't have a name or whatever, so it's just a pro grade disposable hybrid gloves, but it will not stick. So that's good. So I just take a half a sheet of paper towel. This is that Parfex 3408, and you just wipe it on. Real easy, real pretty. Really makes the wood show up, the grain pop out of there. And once you get it on here, I'm going to quit here in just a second because I don't want it beating up on me and making a mess here. So a little bit on here. Wipe it off before it dries. It's real hot out here in the garage, so it's going to set up pretty fast. But you get the idea. So once it's on here, that's it. Just one coat. Then you buff it off with Vonnex and come back and put wax on it. And these things will be pretty. But that's it. All right, I'm going to buff the Parfex off and then wax it. But you buff it off with Vonnex. It's like a plastic compound, buffing compound. And about 1800. You don't want to go over 1800. It gets too hot too quick and it'll leave streaks. So let me get this started. And, Okay, this time I am going to wax it with Carnauba wax. And that'll be it. As far as the finish goes. Doesn't look like it's taking any wax, but it is. Or they say it is. I have my doubts sometimes. They say it is. Okay, what I have here is, I can't remember if this is an 8 or a 10, but it's pretty thick copper wire. So, but I like it for a bale. I like the thickness of it. But to straighten this, you just put in a vise or some clamp someplace where you can hold it and just kind of straighten it out. Just pull it one way, pull it the other way, and it'll get it straight. And then I take a piece of sandpaper 100, 220, whatever you want to do, and kind of rough it up. You don't really want to rough it up. It's more to take the oxidized coating that's on there off, so it looks a little prettier right now. And once you put the lacquer on it, it should stay that way for a while, so it won't be too bad. And then I take that and wrap it around a paint can because it's about the size that I want. So I take a paint can and just wrap it around it. You can make any type of a handle that you want, or you might not even want a bail. But I just think it looks better with one. And then take that off, and then I can cut it on both sides, bend it a little bit, and stick it in there. And then kind of straighten it out where it looks fairly straight. I guess you can see I've already drilled the holes. And that makes my lantern. So now the lantern is complete. It's got a little bail on top. You could make this any size you wanted it, any shape you wanted it, bigger, whatever. But these turn out to be great little Christmas gifts. They're fairly easy to do. People are kind of impressed when they see them. So let me show you the difference here. This one I did, and most of these I've done this way. I actually have 4 segments here in the tree. This one here, I only had 3. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference, except that the more segments you have, the more open it is, which means they can see more of the object or whatever you've got in here. Also, I think these could have been smaller. If you, instead of it being a 1/2 inch across here, or nearly a 1/2 inch, I could cut that down to a 1/4 inch and opened it up even more, and it would still look good. But anyway, that's how I make these. And then come Christmas time, you can find a little greenery stuff to put in here, maybe a snowman, maybe some little snowflakes down here on the bottom, a little bird, I don't know. It's all kind of little objects you could put in here to make it look better.
Yeah, there you go.
Bob, I'll tell you what. You showed such a great idea with that little piece of 1.5 inch paper and glue. That was worth the entertainment right there.
Great.
That was really something. And when you were holding the sandpaper, were you holding it with like a sponge underneath?
Yeah, that's actually one of those sanding pads that you'd buy at Home
That's
Depot.
what
And sometimes I just cut those in half, so they're just, maybe an inch and a half wide instead of 3. Whatever you can take, even cut it at an angle so you can get it up in a curve someplace.
It was a very enjoyable evening, I'll tell you that.
Thanks.
No, thank you too.
Let me show you if y'all can see this or not. But yeah, here you go. So here is one of it done. This one here is a pine one, and you see how much I like the color of it better. I mean, I like the stuff better. The stuff shows up better.
Yeah, that's a great backdrop for it.
Yeah,
Or
and
front
it's
drop in this case.
right. Yeah, and but it's see how wide it is. I mean, you can see a
Yeah.
lot of it in here. All right, but if I take one of these others, it's not open as wide, and it's also dark. You see how dark that Bradford pear turned out? I mean, Bradford pear always
Hold it
turns
higher.
out dark.
Hold it up higher, a little bit higher.
Yep.
There we go.
You see that? All right.
It's still pretty.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Still
still pretty, but you don't see the objects.
Yeah. Yeah,
The-
the lighter colored wood looks way better.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it does too. I think it
agree.
shows up a little better.
Lighter color's great.
Let me show you one other thing too here while we're here. These are those little tea lights, but this in here they call it a bright tea light. And it is definitely brighter.
He has not been lucky balls in play, really high batting average against him. And he's
Turn your
given
TV off.
So you can see that a whole lot. I mean, it's definitely brighter. This little tea light is brighter than let me get this other one. So, if I put this kind in here, which is your normal little tea light, those things aren't very bright. Even though it looks like it is, you can't see it here. But when you drop it in here, it doesn't show up as well.
Right.
A big
Yeah, I
difference.
see what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's
a huge
big
difference, Bob. Did you
Yeah.
get the extra bright ones on Amazon as well?
Yes, that's where I got them. Was on Amazon. But these little bulbs are a whole lot brighter than the other ones.
Oh, it's wonderful. I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
Yeah.
sure.
So anyway, just
Sure,
watch
Matt.
what you get.
I'm sure
What-
Matt dropped a link in the chat for the lights already.
Oh,
No,
did
we did that. I haven't done that, but we did that the other I don't know, 2 weeks ago. Last time I think it was Jeff showed tea lights or something. So
Yeah,
my
it was
question
about a
for
month
you,
ago.
Bob. Yeah, my question for you, Bob, on the tea lights is like when I search on Amazon. Yeah, I think that yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, those are the ones I got. That's the same ones we posted before.
Yeah, it's different. These are different size, is what I was really showing you there. But
They are. Yeah.
But it didn't matter in this. It doesn't matter if it rattles around because it's just sitting in here anyway. Nobody's going to move it. So.
You got the lid on there.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of neat. Okay.
Yeah, you can see how this one, I didn't make this collar stick up high enough, right? I should have made it stick up higher so that this could drop in here further. On these tea lights, see how tall it is? So when you do that, you've got to make a relief in the lid to take, so it'll sit on here, so it'll go up inside the lid.
Okay.
All right, so anyway, you just kind of play with it and figure out what your tea light is going to be. But in this particular case, I didn't make this collar tall enough to cover that. Where on these others, they're taller and the bulb actually sits down in here further.
Right. Yeah, if you don't like that one made out of pine, I got an address for you.
Yeah. I really think pine ones, even though they're not as pretty a wood, but I think stuff shows up better.
Hey, Bob.
Got some,
Yeah.
I got some Norwegian spruce that would work good for that.
Bob, have you ever turned threads on the top of that so you can hang it?
No, because they are pretty heavy. I don't know what you're going to hang it in. It won't hang on a Christmas tree.
No. I'm thinking like from a from a beam or something like that, a porch beam or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, you could, but it's just a lot more trouble. I didn't want to go to that to give
Okay.
it away. I made 9 of these things. I don't want to put threads in 9 of them.
You would be an expert after that time.
Yeah, I would. All right. Well,
By the time you got done threading the 6th one, the number 7 and number 8, you'd be making left-hand threads for your people.
Right. Just to do something different, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing is, this is what I used for the centerpiece down here, and it has this stem. Well, you can't hardly do much with that stem, and you can't cut it away. You've got to leave a little bit here. So what I did is I took a 1/4-inch bit on an extension, and came down from the top and drilled a hole right in the middle, and then cut this thing off. So I can stick that thing, stem down inside there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and that
you glue it in?
Up, you can't see it. So
do you glue it in, or is it just that
no,
good of a compression?
Glued in there.
Okay, right on.
And there I did use that E6000. but if you want something to really stick, use that shoe glue. I'm telling you, if you want it to stay there and get hot or whatever, it's not coming off.
Hey, Bob, the thing that I like about this project is that it can be seasonal. So as your seasons change, you just change the little objects inside of it. Even though it's got a Christmas tree on it, you still just change the objects inside for the seasonal differences.
Sure. And it doesn't have to be a Christmas tree, like they said before. You can make snowman. You can make lots of different things in here besides a Christmas tree. But that's it, guys. This one does have a different bail, by the way. See, this one's round. This one here just looks more
right.
Right now, I'm looking at it; it's crooked. But anyhow, that you can make all different kind of things to make it show up.
That's not crooked, it's because you've been carrying it around and wailing
right. Yeah, and here's the one that doesn't have a bail. That's the one that had a finial on it.
And your bail is just copper wire, is that right?
Yeah, that's all it is. A number 6, or 6-gauge copper wire.
Okay.
But anyway, here's this one. And this wood is really pretty. This in here is pecan. It didn't turn as dark as the Bradford pear did, but still the stuff doesn't show up as well as in the pine. The pine makes it, is lighter, so everything inside shows up better. I don't know, but it does definitely makes a difference there.
You think
bleaching
maple
of
be
the
like
wood
no?
would be?
Do what?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dane.
Okay, so what I was saying is, bleaching of a darker colored wood would come in handy for getting that lighter colored wood.
It might, but I don't think you're going to bleach it that much. I've bleached wood before, and it doesn't. I haven't ever got it to turn white, especially Bradford pear. Anything you put on Bradford pear makes it dark. This is Krylon. I mean, the Parfex, but anything that you seal that with makes it dark. Or the Bradford pear we have down here. I've never had Bradford pear that didn't turn dark like that.
Yeah.
Would
poplar could be a good choice.
Yeah, would maple or something like that work?
Maple would be
sycamore. Sycamore would probably be better than maple, just for the whiteness.
Yeah, something white. But if you get the white, do you get much grain?
Right.
Maybe you don't care. Maybe you want the lightness of the wood more than you care about what the grain.
Show off what you're putting inside, and then the whatever the ornament feature is that you're turning. Yeah, you got a point there.
If you were using sycamore and you made sure that you had the quarter sawn face sticking out, that grain would pop.
Sure, that would be. Yeah, that quarter sawn grain thing would pop. Yeah.
Or
Sure.
you could just use a little bit of crackle like we learned earlier and make it
Sure.
very interesting.
Yeah, go ahead and paint that thing. Make it sure. I mean,
With
there's
those,
things you can do to spruce it up, I guess, or to change it. But
with those extra bright lights, it would light up even the dark ones, wouldn't it?
yeah, it does. With those bright lights, it still lights up even the dark ones here.
Well,
This.
just thinking on the dark woods, what if you were before you put on even after the 3408, a whitewash? You would still get some of the grain coming through, but it would be a lot lighter.
You might be. I mean, you might be right. I don't know.
Just a thought.
That bright light does show up. I mean, if it's sitting up on a mantle or something, you're gonna see the bright
Right.
light.
Yeah, I really like them.
Yep. Especially behind the mirror behind it. Yeah.
I just ordered some.
So did I, Dan.
Or even painting the inside white before you turn it
No.
around.
That's
and
what I
glue
would
it together.
either paint it white or gold or something here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna
Silver.
show.
Yeah.
A lighter
Silver. Yeah. Silver.
deal.
Well, I
That
was.
would reflect it.
Yeah.
Would reflect the light.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted. Who's going to take it?
If you painted that inside a white color or a light color, it would show up real well. So
Yeah.
try.
Very good demo.
All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry about all.
Great demo.
Very intuitive.
Trying the last two demos I did, I'm using Zoom's what do you want to call it? Their
Noise
turning
suppression.
on the video versus me turning on the video. I could just do a screen share and open up my own video window and turn the video on. And then it uses my speakers and my mic to broadcast the sound, but through the speaker, through the phone, because that's what I'm using. It's a cell phone for the mic and camera here. So, but that way it would, because it is the mic, I think Zoom would take all that noise, that background noise out.
It would.
Where if I'm showing it as a true video on Zoom, it doesn't. It sends everything that it hears. But to me, that the sound on this end was terrible.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, there was a lot of buzzing and
no, it wasn't. It wasn't at all.
background noise.
Yeah,
it was a great demo.
Well, I know. I mean, I appreciate that, Al, and but realistically, I think any more of them, I'm not going to show using Zoom to do the showing. I'm going to actually just turn on the demo by myself and use the mic that's on my phone and it would cut out that background noise. Anyway, we can go to something else.
On the next one, we can try both of them. Try it out both ways, Bob. Beforehand.
Yeah, let's do it.
No issue.
It takes up too much time jacking with it.
Yeah.
Bob, I have a completely off topic turning wise question, but it is related. During the video at the end, you were showing your presentation on that gorgeous round lattice or whatever we call it. If you know what I mean. How do you come up with your ideas for this gorgeous cutting pattern? Do you have some technique or do you just start cutting these? Do you just start drawing them until they fit? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Not yet. You're not talking?
I'm sorry. You had the sample sitting on this round disc, but it had the lattice, the laces, whatever you want to call it. Is that all coming just out of your mind instantly, or how do you come up with these patterns?
That's just
you always do this, and I'm looking at them and I'm saying, God, you are so creative. Do you have a secret that you can not teach us, but just sort of say, well, I kind of use this technique vaguely? I mean, I
Yeah.
know that's not turning wise, but I am just so fascinated by everything you do that is so like that. You have a technique.
Well, good. I'm glad I do. I don't know what I do here, but I'm glad. But that's just a stand that just a junk piece that I had out of an antique store. So it just
Oh,
said,
okay.
well, I'm just going to use it and set it
You
up.
do it all the time on other things too. So you've
Okay.
got a technique someplace. I mean,
All
that
right.
one
Well,
just happened to be out of the antique store. Okay.
yeah. Thanks,
Right.
guys.
All right. Well,
Oh, this
for
whole thing, that's just a junky thing out of an antique store.
yeah, right.
that was what I was thinking as he made that comment.
It's
Well,
No, he's got a technique
I
there.
gotta tell you guys, if you watch how the really creative folks behave, folks, like Nick Agar or Frank Sudol or any of these other people who are really creative, they are always looking at everything around them, their entire environment, wherever they were. They were taking pictures of beaches and rocks, and at art fairs they were taking pictures of mosaics and stuff. It's just
It's
the
nothing
source.
new. They're just repurposing.
Yeah,
There you-
well, and it may be, and they may create something new, but they're looking at natural things around them for their inspiration, and
Sure.
so there's a mindset there where you begin to just look at everything around you. One of the reasons why I was asked so many questions about Paul Hannaby's work and the crackle is because that's fascinating, because it's a sort of a naturally created process in some ways. There's questions about how do you guide that? How do you direct the crackle? Can you direct the crackle? You know what I mean? But nature does that too. So just there's all sorts of things that you could use as a source for something you create. So
Sure.
Amen.
Crackle paint had been around forever. They used to
yeah,
do
it
that
has.
furniture, and a lot of that was just Elmer's glue. You painted
Yes.
color,
The old
put Elmer's glue on
flat
top
board.
of it, and then another coat of paint, and the Elmer's glue, when it dries, shrinks, and that's what makes the crackle.
Yep. And part of me wonders if that whole crackle medium stuff wasn't developed from Elmer's glue, or you know what I mean?
It could be Elmer's glue. They just renamed it.
That's right. Yeah, forever we know it's an Elmer's subsidiary that started that all.
Well, you get something kind of like that when you're using acrylic, in terms of if you put just the slightest bit of oil in a acrylic paint, it causes it to not do the crackle, but you get these little dots, bubbles, whatever you want to call, and it does something very interesting. Not quite the crackle concept, but
No,
they,
they're
they call
cells.
them they call them cells.
Yeah,
cells. There you go.
Well,
Yeah, and it's something. It's a difference between a paint pour and a dirty paint pour. Is the dirty paint pour has got cells in some of the paints.
Yeah.
So when you
What
do
kind
the
of oil
layers,
you use? Using
we were
motor
just
oil?
using silicon
Silica
off the
oil.
shelf. Yeah, off the shelf silicon. Just spraying it in the paint and mixing it up, and then
Went over everybody's head.
They call it fisheye in automotive paint.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's horrible.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, with that, we're 7 after the hour. Top end of the program. So with that, we will call this demarcation point of the official meeting, and we will keep the meeting open for those that are still here. I'm glad you all came out. Most of you been here the whole evening. Good seeing everybody. We had a hell of a nice demo put on there by Mr. Grinstead. Typical of him, being able to put together a video and be so detail oriented on making something that anybody can pick up a gouge and know the presentation, the basic presentation going through the lathe, similar to what we were talking about earlier. And you'd be successful at making one of these projects. I know I'm gonna try it here in the future once I'm back to where I can turn again. So with that, we'll leave it open for the after hours. I see some of our Waco folks are here. Hey, Jim.
Yeah, I see Howard and Jim and
Gary.
Rita and Gary. Looks like they're all in the same room. Hello, folks.
Hey, we're all here. We're having a great time.
I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. Oh man, we've had a great evening.
Right, good for you guys.
We're just starting. We're just starting. Anyway.
You're just getting primed, right? Gary's just now getting his ether.
Hey, Jim.
Cheers,
Hey,
brother.
Jim.
Hey,
What
Joaquin.
time's Instant Gallery open tomorrow? Do you know?